Hi everyone, I'm Liz and welcome back to Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. Hi everyone, welcome back to another crafty podcast, another Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch show. It has been a few weeks since I sat down here in the craft room and caught you up on all my projects, and I have got a lot of new things to show you because I've been starting stuff over the past few weeks. If you saw my last video, which was a what I craft in a week and a Flock Fiber Fest recap, then you will have seen some of the new projects I started. And I've started another since I've gotten home from that event. So yeah, unfortunately my cross stitch bug has kind of left me these past few weeks and I don't have any new cross stitching to catch you up on. It is pretty much all knitting and one new craft that I tried out last weekend, which is punch needle. And I have done the tiniest bit of punch needle before and I own several cute patterns, but I had never really completed a project but basically I saw that a new local yarn store here in Austin called Knit ATX was offering a punch needle class with Kimberly Kite, who is one of the designers behind Ruby Star Society. And she happens to be like my favorite fabric designer, and I had met her once like a million years ago, but it was fun to go re-meet her and hang out with her and learn punch needle directly from one of the crafty people that I love to follow on Instagram, and I've followed her blog for years. Love Ruby Star fabrics, so it was just a really great time. Other than that, the past few weeks have just been busy with traveling and work and family events and just all kinds of the usual summer stuff. A couple weekends ago, I was in Seattle for Flock Fiber Fest. Then I spent a week for work in the San Jose area in California. And I've been back home for a week and work has been so busy and I have just been kind of turning to knitting to keep me sane the last few weeks. So I've got a lot of knitting to share. I've also got some Quilting Haul, some yarn haul. I'm not gonna go through all of the Flock haul because I did that all in my Flock Fiber recap vlog. So I will link that down below in case you missed it, but I am gonna show you everything I've been working on and maybe a little bit of chatter about what I want to be working on. And, you know, I'll have random stories that I interrupt myself with in the meantime. I am like really forgetting how I normally film these. It's been 3 weeks, I think, since I sat down and did one of these videos. So let's just jump into it. And if I think of things I'm forgetting or things I want to talk about, I'll just interject them whenever I remember. Yeah. Okay, let's start with the new craft. As I just mentioned, I took a punch needle class last weekend at a local yarn store and I completed my project. And here it is. This is punch needle done with worsted weight yarn, and I believe it's a 4mm punch needle. I think I have my tools right here. Let's see. This is what the punch needle itself looks like. And Kimberly told us it's a 4mm, so it's kind of similar to how you would size needles and hooks for knitting and crochet with the size yarn. I typically, I think, would knit worsted weight yarn with a 5mm needle, but she recommended a 4mm for worsted weight punch needle. So yeah, this was awesome. Worsted weight yarn punch needle goes so quick. I finished this in about 3 to 4 hours. I got about half of it done in class. The class was 2 hours. And then I finished the other half and the details when I got home. So like, what a quick, satisfying project. I'll give you another kind of close-up look at it. She had several different colorways we could pick from, and I was just obsessed with this one. I'll show you what the back looks like. you know, my first attempt. I think it looks pretty good. And I think the way I'm going to fully finish this is to buy an 8-inch wooden, cheapo wooden hoop off Amazon or from Michael's or something and paint it. And then I will swap it out for like the cheapy wooden hoop. This hoop that we got in class is a Morgan hoop, and they are the ones that have like the grooves inside that you can really pull your fabric tight. Because one of the keys for punch needle is that your fabric has to be pulled like drum tight for everything to work the way it should. So this Morgan hoop is purely a working hoop, not for like display and decoration. So I just left it in this because it's easier to show it to you guys. But yeah, I'm trying to think if I have anything else fun and exciting to share. I mean, I have done a little bit of punch needle with embroidery floss, like 3 strands of embroidery floss, and I liked it, but I didn't really know what I was doing, and the design I picked to start with was so big, and I kind of got overwhelmed, and so I never finished that project. But now that I've tried it with yarn, I have like a million ideas, and I really want to make like a couch, like cushion cover, like pillow basically, with this kind of worsted weight style. I also used to make a lot of illustrations. I used to have an Etsy shop where I designed stickers and enamel pins and things. And I have a lot of illustrations on my iPad from that time. And I kind of am like, I could easily kind of just draw something up and then punch needle it with yarn. So I've got a lot of like ideas floating around in my head, and you know, it's all about when do I have the time and energy to make them happen. But I really, really enjoyed learning a new craft and completing a project so quickly. That is so freaking adorable. If you've been watching me for a long time, you probably know that this little strawberry is one of my absolute favorite fabric prints. I have it on my ironing board cover. I've used this fabric in numerous project bags and patterns and projects. So when I saw that it was this design, I was like, yeah, I have to take this class. So yeah, that is the new craft that I learned this week and now I'm obsessed with. I do think that Kimberly is or was selling the kits for this project on her Etsy shop. So if I can find that, I will definitely link it down below. Okay, let's get into the knitting because I have started 4 new projects since you saw me last. And did I bring them all in here? I think so. Oh, I just realized, okay, the one project I didn't bring in here is my birthday socks. And if you watched the last video, I knit on those for like 20 to 30 minutes a couple of nights while I was trying to prevent myself from starting new things. And you will know that I was unsuccessful in the attempt to distract myself from starting new things. So that's the only project I didn't bring back here, but I'll put a picture in. I just did a couple of rounds on these socks. These are a Full Moon Fibers sock yarn, and I started these for my birthday while I was at StitchCon in June. Okay, let's jump into the new starts, and I'll go in the order in which I started them. And the first one is a new garment, and it is the Lakes Striped Tee by Ozetta. I am keeping it in my all-time favorite knitting project bag, which is the Maker's Tote by, oh, I'm forgetting her name. I'll put it on the screen, but I'm obsessed with this bag and I kind of want to make myself another one because I feel like all of my sweaters should have a pretty little quilted bag. I am totally loving the construction of this pattern, which is a new kind of way to do a saddle shoulder. I have done some saddle shoulder patterns, but this is a new to me way of constructing a saddle shoulder and I love it. The only thing is that you do have to kind of cut and join yarn a lot, meaning that there are a million ends already on this project. So I'm trying to arrange it to show it to you without all of the ends blocking my progress. Okay. Here is what my Lakes Striped Tee is looking like so far. I'm obsessed with it. It's this really pretty kind of clay pink color from Madeline Tosh called Pink Mist Smoke Tree. I'm pretty sure. If it's wrong, I'll put it on the screen. And I am using a white color called Parchment from Seismic Yarns. And I got this at the Flock Fiber Festival last weekend specifically so that I could cast on and make progress on this t-shirt, because the original yarn I tried to use that I had in stash, I felt like was a little bit too thin when compared to the Madeline Tosh sock yarn. So I found a perfect yarn at Flock. And I technically cast this on while I was at home before I left for the trip, but then I had to restart it while I was at Flock once I got the right contrast color yarn. And I've been really, really obsessed with it, and you can see I've made a lot of progress. I did take a little video of me wearing it the other night and the progress I've made, so I'll put that in here. Hi, Jonesy. Do you like my sweater? Isn't it cute? Oh my gosh, I am so happy with how this is turning out. I really like these shoulders. Oh my gosh. Oh, he left. Yeah, I really, really want to get this one done in the next few weeks to kind of enjoy, you know, I mean, summer here lasts till November, really, honestly, truly. So I have plenty of more time to wear a little short sleeve knit. I mean, I can wear this through winter with just like a cardigan or a jacket over the top of it too. So I feel like this will be a year-round wearable knit for me. And yeah, I am knitting it completely to pattern using a size 3 needle that is called for the main body. The stitch gauge, I am totally bang on. My row gauge though, as always, is longer than called for. Like, I think the row gauge is 40 rows per 4 inches and I'm getting 36 rows per 4 inches, but that's kind of my MO. I feel like I can hit stitch gauge of what the designer calls for almost every single time with the recommended needles, but I can never get my row gauge to match. For some reason, my row gauge is always longer than what is called for. So basically what that means is that, you know, it calls for a certain number of rows in the yoke before you do some shaping and then join it under the arms. And so I just know that I'm getting like 1 less stitch per inch. So I did a little bit of math and then I adjusted where I did my increases and my joining just slightly. So I think I basically removed 6 rows from the yoke just to make sure mine didn't become overly long. And you can see from the videos I shared when I tried this on that it is fitting perfectly row depth wise. And I'm also really happy with how it's fitting width wise, like around my chest. It's kind of early, like I only have a couple inches done and knit under the arms, but based on how it's fitting so far, I feel like it's going to be about a 2 to 4 inches of positive ease situation. And that's exactly what I was going for with this. I wanted it to be a little bit of positive ease, but not oversized. And I feel like with my Cumulus tee that I finished about a month or so ago, I really like the way it fits, but it had a little bit more positive ease than I was intending. And so I purposely, you know, got my gauge and picked the size that will give me 2 inches. And I do think with blocking, maybe that will expand slightly, but I think this is going to turn out the size that I want it to. Or the size that I'm intending it to, and then we'll see how it fits and if I really do like the smaller amount of positive ease, or if, you know, I go back to doing things kind of oversized. But I'm really, really happy with how this is turning out, and I just realized, ooh, I'm dropping stitches! Oh no. Oh no. Okay, I saved it. Okay, I'm gonna put this one down. That is my Striped Lakes tee by Ozetta. And I'll just give you one little look at the yarn. Just so pretty. I'm trying a new lens on my camera today. I've been using this really cool wide angle lens on my filming camera for like the last year or two, and it's been great, but it's really big and bulky and it makes the setup on my tripod kind of annoying. So I got a smaller lens and I think it's gonna look nice. The only thing is that it's less wide. So I feel like I'm really far from the camera, but it's actually kind of a tight shot. So I'm really hoping everything looks good and everything focuses. I feel like I'm always talking about like the things I do behind the scenes to make these videos when it's like, who cares? I'm sure it's fine, but I don't know. For me, sharing all my craftiness and making videos, like I like sharing about how I make videos, because to me that's kind of part of this whole video creation process, is like not only all the crafty updates I share, but also like how I share them sometimes. It's probably boring for most people watching, but anyways, new camera setup. Hope it works. Oh my gosh. And then as I look down, I literally have this sitting next to me, which is a little tiny Ruby Star Society notebook in my fave strawberry print. I told you guys, I love these strawberries. Okay, after I started the striped t-shirt, let me set this out of the way. Then I started a couple of new projects to take as travel projects on my Seattle and San Jose trip. And I think the first one I started was a pair of socks for my sister Allison. Okay, so first off, I'm storing this project in like the cutest project bag I've ever owned, which is this little like frosted animal cookies small bag from Black Pearl Magic. I got this at Flock last weekend, or 2 weeks ago at this point, and it's freaking adorable. Like the holographic leather. I immediately had to put a project in there because I'm obsessed. Oh, I just realized I stopped knitting the sock mid-row. Whatever, I can still show it to you. This is a pattern by Summer Lee. It is called the Sailor Sock Set, I believe. It's called Scattered Pearls. And here is my progress. As you can see, I just made my heel and picked up my gusset stitches, and I think I'm on like the 3rd round of the gusset. I am completely copying a pair of socks I made for myself with this Scattered Pearls pattern, using a different sock set for my sister Allison, because our feet are basically the exact same size. I love the way this pair of socks fits, and I think she'll love it too. So I'm just kind of mimicking a pair of socks I already know and love. So I did, I think, a 20-row cuff with like 3 rounds of a contrast. And then I think I did 32 or 36 rounds for the leg to kind of do like a, not a shorty, but not a tall sock, kind of a mid-rise sock. And then I did a heel flap and gusset, and yeah, I'm just obsessed. I think it's so cute. I'm using a Hedgehog Fibers sock in the color Mulberry, and the accent is a Sweet Georgia yarn, and I'm not sure of the color, but I mean, they're perfect. I'm knitting these with a size US 1.5 needle, and 64 stitches is the size. I forgot to share one of my favorite things about summer so far, and it's literally something that just happened this week. I discovered that I can knit in the pool. Now it's completely a solo activity. There has to be calm, perfectly still waters with no little nieces or nephews splashing. But basically, I figured out a way that I can sit on a noodle, use my big like floating mattress that I use for tanning flat in front of me like a tabletop, and then I use a like mixing bowl or a, you know, a big salad bowl or something from my kitchen to put my project in to keep it protected from the water, and I can just sit on a pool noodle and knit in the pool. I did it for 2 hours the other day and it was amazing, and now I'm just mad that I hadn't tried knitting in the pool sooner. It is a little bit dangerous. I mean, you know, like maybe try at your own risk, but I'm obsessed. And every time I'm in the pool solo now, I'm bringing a knitting project. Okay, next new project was a Musselburgh hat. I knit my husband a Musselburgh hat last year in kind of a charcoal and red colorway that he requested. and he absolutely loves the way it fits, and I love the way it fit, and I was like, I want one for myself. So I decided what a perfect travel, easy, vanilla stockinette project to cast on. So I went ahead and got myself started on a Musselburgh hat. This is a pattern by Ysolda Teague. It is beloved. There are thousands and thousands of projects you can look at on Ravelry. It is knit in a long tube where one end goes up inside the other to make a double layer hat, and you can even make it longer so that it folds up and has a little foldable brim. I am hoping that I get the fold over brim with my hat, but we'll see how much yarn I have. I am using a skein of yarn from Ruby and Roses from her Taylor Swift collection. It's called Willow. Let me grab the label. It's her Fragrant Rose sock base, and it is 383 yards for 100 grams, which is the only reason why I'm unsure if I'll have enough to do the double folded brim. I know with a normal like kind of 440 yard sock skein, people can get the full tube with the fold over brim, but we'll see how far I get with the 383 yards. I plan on, you know, weighing my yarn as I go, and when I get close to 50 grams left, then I'll know that's my halfway point, and then I'll measure and I'll be able to see like how long of a hat I'll be able to get. So if I can't get the fold over brim, I'll just do a single, you know, beanie style that doesn't fold up. Yeah, so I just am absolutely obsessed with this colorway. It's so like layered and beautiful. It feels very fall, very like foresty to me. And to be honest, it's not my usual color in terms of, I mean, you guys know how much I love bright colors, but I felt like this darker color would contrast and look nice with my hair and just be kind of something like easy to wear with a lot of colors. I feel like on camera, the contrast is really popping. I feel like it doesn't look quite so streaky and contrasty in person, but I don't know. Basically, I'm about 20 rounds past my crown increases, so I have not made it super far because I've been distracting myself with other projects. You know how it goes. I am knitting this with size 2 16-inch circulars, and I'm doing the adult medium hat. I think I got like 8 stitches per inch or 7.5 stitches per inch. So I'm following, you know, those guidelines for an adult medium. That's what I made for my husband, the adult medium. So I think we'll be all good there. And I'm storing this one in an adorable project bag that somebody made me and gifted me, I think at the Stitch North retreat. Okay, the last new project is one you have not seen yet, and I'm so excited about it. It is the Alpine Bloom sweater by Caitlin Hunter. I mentioned I was just at Flock like 100 times, and one of the things I saw while at Flock was about 100 different versions of the Alpine Bloom sweater. I felt like everyone had one on, and I was highly jealous, and I want one. So I also, while at Flock, kept seeing Spin Cycle everywhere. Spin Cycle is, I'll show you a skein of it right here. It is a hand spun looking, like it's not hand spun, but it looks hand spun with all these beautiful colors. And I was obsessed with it, and I was like, what can I make with this Spin Cycle yarn? I need to think of a project before I buy any. And I kept seeing everyone's Alpine Blooms, and I was like, yes, perfect. And it only takes 2 skeins of Spin Cycle. So I bought the yarn I needed, and I resisted as long as I could before starting it, and that lasted until Saturday night. Last night? No, Friday night. Friday night. I got done working for the week. It had been a long, stressful week, and I was like, I want a new project. I want to start something with my Flock yarn, and I did. So have I gotten very far? No, I haven't, but this is what I have. Doesn't even look like anything yet. This is a top-down circular yoke sweater. I have already made some modifications, which if you're familiar with the Alpine Bloom, you can probably see there. It calls for a lace collar, and I decided that I just wanted to do a twisted rib collar. So I cast on the number of stitches for the lace collar and just did a twisted rib before starting the, you know, the rest of the pattern as called for. I did basically all my short rows and then got 10 rows into the Colorwork chart. And the reason I have it taken off of the needles and on just like a scrap piece of yarn right now is because I want to block this. I am playing a dangerous game with this whip, and that is that I didn't really swatch. I did a little swatch with my main color, my purple yarn, which is Sincere Sheep Cormo Sport. So I'll give you a little look at the label there. This is, again, a yarn I picked up at Flock last weekend. This is a sport weight 4-ounce skein with 400 yards. It's 100% Cormo, non-superwash, hand dyed, and the color is Sakura, and it's gorgeous. So I have 3 skeins, my working ones down here. I've got 3 skeins, so I've got 1,200 yards of this purple. And then the spin cycle, it called for 2 skeins of this 200 yards of spin cycle. So my size that I'm making, I think requires almost 2 full skeins. And so I decided that I wasn't going to swatch the Colorwork because I didn't want to waste any of the spin cycle in my swatch. Even if I didn't cut it and then unraveled my swatch, I just didn't want to, I didn't want to use any of this for swatching. So I did swatch my purple and I was able to get stitch gauge, no problem. But I have not done stranded Colorwork in like 15 years. I used to be obsessed with it back in my 20s when I knit all the time. And I had done several hats, mittens, a couple of sweaters. Like, I was obsessed with Colorwork, but I haven't done it in forever. So I don't know how my gauge is in stranded Colorwork anymore. So I went ahead and just cast on and got the Colorwork started. And now that I've got 10 rows of the Colorwork, I am taking it off the needles to wash and block this section. That way I can really see like how my fabric looks, get a true stitch gauge on the Colorwork, and make sure I'm still on track with the size I picked and that everything is going to work out. So I am living dangerously, because if I wash and block this and discover that my gauge is way off or something's not looking good, then yes, I might have to start over. But that's okay. I'm okay. I went into this knowing that, you know, I could find an issue, but so far it's looking good, and I just want to block it and see how this Colorwork is looking. I usually take a couple of days to edit these videos before I put them live, so if I have a photo of this blocked before I publish the video, I'll put it in here. Yeah, I'm just really excited. I'm obsessed with this color combo. This is going to be the brightest, craziest sweater I've ever knit, and I can't wait to see it. Here's what the spin cycle is looking like in the little yarn cake so far. So you can see I've got some more greens, and then the red and pink and the purple and back to red. It's just gonna be so cool. I can't wait. I am knitting this completely as called for, with the size 4 needles for the body, the size 3 needles for the ribbing, or the lace is what it called for, but I'm using it for my ribbing. And I bought more yarn. Well, okay, because there's 400 yards in these skeins, I have more of the main color than my size calls for. So the pattern is short sleeves, like a little, you know, short sleeve top. And I'm fine if that's what I have enough yarn for and mine ends up short sleeved, but I think I might have enough yardage to actually be able to do long sleeves on this. So we'll see what happens when, you know, I get the body completed and start picking up the sleeves. I'll probably weigh what I have, split it up, and then if I can't get full length sleeves, I might do like little 3/4 or something, or maybe I'll do short. I don't know. It's kind of the fun of a top-down sweater. You can kind of decide things on the fly. So we'll see what I end up having enough yarn for. But I am very, very excited about this project and very happy to have cast on some of my flock yarn, finally. Finally. I waited a week and a half before casting on. Oh yeah, the other thing I was gonna do, is this stupid? I don't know, I'll cut it out if it's stupid. I was gonna try on my, my little yoke for you. Ugh, try not to get lipstick on it. So obviously, you know, like the neck will grow with blocking, but how cute is this, guys? Oh my God, I'm obsessed. Can we do a thumbnail? Okay, I think that's everything I have to say about my new Alpine Bloom sweater. Okay, let's move on to a little bit of haul. I have a little bit of yarn that came in the mail. Oh, I should put my shirt back on. Summer Liz. You know, let's cover back up. Okay, I did a pre-order with Sorella yarn from their Wildflower collection. The colors were so beautiful and I couldn't decide what I wanted, and I ended up with a mini set. This is the like half set in the bright colors. Let's see, what's it called? I don't know if it has a name. It just says Wildflower Garden Collection. But this is, you know, a selection of the new colors from that palette, and it's amazing. And no, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I kind of have a collection going of mini skeins, and I need to figure out some mini skein projects. Or stop buying them, but you know. Anyways, I got a mini skein collection, and then I could not resist this sock set, which is called Dahlia. I mean, so beautiful. The Sorella sock yarn is a 80/20 superwash merino woolen nylon, 400 yards. So absolutely beautiful. And I know like sock weight, like sock bases, I feel like range usually from like 400 to 470 yards, depending on like the thickness. And I feel like my preference is like 400 to 430 yards. I like a slightly thicker sock yarn. I've used a couple that are around like 460 yards per 100 grams, and they just felt too thin to me. Like I felt like I would almost have to go down to like a size 0, or like whatever's lower than a 1. Is 0 the next size down from a 1? I think so. I don't know. The smallest I ever knit socks is on a size 1. So when it's like a slightly thinner sock yarn, I just can't make that work with my gauge and my knitting. So anyways, 400 is like kind of the thickest I like in terms of sock yarn, and I really like the Sorella sock yarn. So I got this pretty little set to add to the growing collection of sock yarn. Then I placed an order with the Fat Quarter Shop for some quilting goodies, even though, no, I have not sewn since the last time I saw you. But man, I want to get back to sewing, and I know I keep saying that, and at some point I will. But I did buy a few new things. I got the new Lori Holt Hometown Holiday fabric collection in the Jolly Bar, which is an exclusive pre-cut to the Fat Quarter Shop. It is a 5x10 pre-cut, and these come with a free pattern that uses the Jolly Bar. That's a look at all of the fabrics that are included in this collection. And I think I have a picture of what the quilt pattern looks like that comes with the Jolly Bar. So yeah, I kind of want to make this as like a wall hanging or just a little throw accent quilt for the holidays at some point. So I got this. I also got a layer cake of Kitty Christmas by Urban Chicks from Moda. Yeah, a kitten in a stocking. You better believe I'm gonna need that. So I'll put a picture in here. I did a Moda panel, like an Urban Chicks panel for Halloween, featuring a little Halloween cat a couple of years ago. And so when I saw this kitty in the stocking setup, I knew I had to have it. So there is a panel. I'll put the picture in. Basically, I got the panel that goes with this fabric line and a layer cake. That way I can cut the layer cake up and do some sort of half square triangle, scrappy something to put the panel print, like to applique the panel on top of, similar to how I did my Halloween quilt. And I actually did a Christmas, oh wow, did I do this for, yeah, I did a Christmas quilt too a couple years ago with the Santa. Whatever, I'm just gonna have Christmas quilts wallpapering my walls at some point. And then also in this fabric order, I got this absolutely gorgeous print, which is like gold frames surrounding little botanicals. And I don't know yet what I'm gonna make with it, but I do know who I'm gonna make something with this for. And if they're watching, they might know who they are as well, because this is just screaming one of my friends' names. So anyways, I got some fabric. Maybe at some point again in my life, I will sew. Okay, I think we've reached the end of everything I have to share today. This ended up being a little bit shorter than I thought it would be, but I've been knitting a ton. I don't see that stopping anytime soon, but I am really hoping to get back into cross stitching soon because I miss my garden sampler. I want to work on that butterfly piece. I want to eventually get back to my deadly aquarium. Yeah, but I have just been going with the flow, and whatever I want to work on, whatever feels good to pick up, it's what I've been doing. I have just had a lot going on work-wise. It's been stressful. There's been changes and things. And so it's like, whatever feels the easiest and the best to work on and the most like stress relieving, that's just what I've been going with. And that's just been knitting on the couch for me. I've just been really enjoying, okay, so this is the end of the video where I get rambly and weird. Not weird, but like I just talk about non-crafting stuff sometimes. So I'm going to tell you what Rob and I have been like all into. As I'm saying this, I'm reminding myself that when I first started this new style, I was going to have all these segments, and I was going to have a segment about like media and like what I've been into pop culture wise, but I don't remember what I was going to title that. I also feel like new projects were going to get like a hot new thing label, and I definitely didn't say any of that when I was showing you new projects. Like, I really wish YouTube was my full-time job because I have so many ideas for my channel all the time and like don't ever have the time to execute them. I'm just lucky that I have time to sit down on a Sunday and then spend a couple of days editing this and getting it uploaded. Like, anyways, pop culture stuff. So one of the reasons I've been loving just knitting on the couch is because Rob and I have gotten super into Survivor. And we have discovered over the past few years that we really love like competition reality shows. Like we've watched The Traitors, The Circle, is it just The Traitors? No, The Challenge on MTV. Like those kind of like, there's physical or mental challenges, and there's also like strategy and politics and the drama that goes along with that. And we had never watched Survivor. I used to watch it like literally in the early 2000s when it was first on. Like I remember I watched the finale of the first season. That was the only episode I watched of the first season. And then I watched all of seasons like 2, 3, and 4 because I was obsessed. And then like never watched it again. So it had been since like 2003 or 4 since I had watched Survivor. And I feel like this most recent season that aired live, so many people I was following on like Instagram and TikTok and stuff were talking about Survivor. And I was like, I want to get back into Survivor. I want to try it. And so I convinced Rob, we watched the most recent season and we were both like obsessed. So then we watched the season before that, loved it. And then because we were so into Traitors, there is a former Survivor player named Parvati who was on Traitors. And so we looked up what was her first season of Survivor. And so we went and watched that. And then we've been looking up like, what are everybody's favorite seasons of Survivor? And we watched one of those. And now we're just like full Survivor addicts. And luckily there's like 45, I don't even know, 40 something seasons available on Paramount Plus. And so we were like set with content. So it's like, if I just want to relax, we just like put on an episode of Survivor and I knit, and it has been amazing. So that's what we've been all into. The other thing I've been all into are fake press-on nails. Are these These are a brand called Glamnetic that one of my coworkers, actually when I was in San Jose for work, one of my coworkers who was also there had on the cutest little lemony like nails, and I was like, oh my gosh, your nails are amazing. And she's like, press-ons. And so she was telling me that like their nails are really cute, but really it's like their glue that like literally they don't budge for like up to 3 weeks. She's like, I've left them on for 3 weeks before. And I was like, yes, that's what I want. Like the ones that just will not pop off. So, I mean, these have only been on 2 days, but I am obsessed with them. And they're like a super short length, which I love because crafting. And yeah, so I'm like slowly amassing a stash of press-on nails that I'm obsessed with. Last summer, I was all into like going to the nail place and getting nail art, but I love going to the salon and getting a pedicure because I can knit my way through it. But when you're getting like your nails done, that's like an hour and a half, especially if you're getting nail art where you can't use your hands. And I'm like, wait, if I press them on at home, I'm done in like 20 minutes. And it saves money. So anyways, I feel like a genius over here with my press-on nails. Yeah, okay, I think that's enough rambly nonsense. I am gonna leave the video here. Thank you all so much for watching and being here to chat with me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!